So, we're going to talk about video games in this series. I can't wait to talk about it. And why not kick off Spider-Man's first video game review, then with arguably the best in the franchise. And in this video game, they don't hesitate. You already know who Spider-Man is. You don't need the origin story. You don't need any of that. This has been a Spider-Man that has been around for too long, and he's just ready to kind of like move on. But basically, in this story, you are introduced to the characters you know and love from the Spider-Man series, from Norman Osborn, Mary Jane, Aunt May. All of these characters have evolved. Like, there's even a big plot point of Aunt May working at a place where she helps the homeless, and she is helping taking care of them, and then turns out that her boss is later gonna be known as Mr. Negative, who is the key villain of the first half of this video game. You even kick off the video game fighting the Kingpin, kind of getting him out the way, just basically establishing that this world has already been through so much chaos. And you know what? Just start with an action scene. That is the best way to keep people invested in a video game. You don't have to go through, a life of Peter Parker just moving around. Like, no, you're basically Spider-Man the whole time. Like, the most you'll see Peter Parker is the stories that you are watching throughout the game. And they actually wrote this down like a series, like a movie. It was well written. It was awesome. And it was rare to see something like this in a video game. Like, the closest you gotten were the Gotham Batman video games, which you basically already follow Batman through his origin story. So this is like the closest thing we gotten to something like that in the Marvel side of things. And in the game, there is a lot that you can do, not just in the story. There's a part where you can actually collect Peter Parker's backpacks that have been lost throughout the weeks. There's side missions. If you get the DLC, Black Cat is in it, which is awesome. There is a storyline of Harry Osborn leaving a lot of trace for some side quest missions. It is a really cool concept, and it's just very entertaining to be doing something like this, and it just shows you the amount of care that they had for this. So the main story here is Mr. Negative wants to basically use this chemical that like basically turns everybody into like these like zombies, but like they kind of like turn better, if I'm making sense. But you know what? It kind of worked for what it was. I kind of wish that we get more of Mr. Negative. From my Wikipedia, it says that Mr. Negative is mainly known for being a villain in the Shang-Chi S-World. If we ever get a Shang-Chi sequel, I think Mr. Negative is the next direction you can go. I mean, how many villains are there in that world that are really well known? And luckily this video game already did it. And then given that little side plot of like being Aunt May's boss, it just shows you the amount of detail that they put into this story, and it just elevates. For the first half of the story, that is the main story, Mr. Negative. And in the process of this, there's a big bombing explosion. He gets involved in the speech of Jefferson Davis, who later we know, for those who have been following comic books, has been Miles Morales' dad, who we get a mini origin story in the process of this story of Miles Morales, because up to this point, we all knew who Miles Morales was. We all knew that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was going to be a Miles Morales story. So we were slowly building up this character into his own character in 2018. This was like the year of Miles Morales, if I'm being honest. Well job, because you were very invested from like the death of his father, Peter feeling guilty, giving him a job, kind of letting him into this world, like giving him a chance, kind of like, because he has sympathy for him, because it kind of reminded him of the whole Uncle Ben death. And even though he hasn't even been bitten by a spider, you know where this is kind of going. Some of the MJ levels are kind of annoying, if I'm being honest, because you can't really do much with MJ. They do fix that in the next game, which we'll get to eventually. Because the whole time you're just kind of hiding, ducking, and you're not really punching. You can't do anything. They fix that in the later games. But there's times where I'm just like, I just want to get to this next level, but this one's taking forever. Flashbacks can take a while. I don't know what is it about flashbacks. Another very important character and plays a huge part, at least in the second half of this video game, is Dr. Otto Octavius, who was a former employee of Oscorp but been fired and screwed over by Norman Osborn. So he does his own projects, and in the process he interns Spider-Man, and he is basically doing his own thing. He is basically working with him, and in the process he actually finds out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and he even helps him get the suit that we all know him for this particular video game, with the white spider in his chest. Honestly, and this might be a very unpopular opinion or even a hot take, but I think this Otto Octavius is slightly better than Alfred Molina's Dr. Otto Octavius. That is how good the writing is for this game, because they just took a lot of everything that we love about Spider-Man, from the characters and the villain. Oh yeah, Stan Lee's cameo was here. I believe this is the last Stan Lee cameo of him being alive. I think he died like a few months after this video game's release. It was awesome to see him in this video game, him sharing the story of how Peter and MJ are his favorite customers. That was awesome. There's a lot of greatness to this video game. Spider-Man, eventually Dr. Otto Octavius, he goes ballistic after finally making his robot arms and trying to get revenge on Norman for what they did in Oscorp. He even forms the Sinister Six. You would think that the Sinister Six would have been built for a much later video game, but no, we're doing it right away. So I'm just like, I like that this game gets to the point, and it has balls to do that, because now that you've done the Sinister Six, how do you follow that? It's crazy, and I love that about it. I love that in the game also you can choose different suits. They even have the Tobey Maguire suit, Spider-Punk. There's a ridiculous one of Peter Parker in his drawers, but his mask, that one's ridiculous. There's even an animated Spider-Man. There is all kinds, basically all of the ones from the Homecoming trilogy. There is just a lot of entertainment in this game, and it's just so well about it. But the main story at the end, they took risk of doing something amazing. One of my favorite moments in Spider-Man history, Aunt May's death, which is not something that people talk about a lot. It doesn't really happen a lot in the comics that I know of, but when it happened here, it hit close to home. It was Spider-Man putting Aunt May in a bed, and she goes, "Oh, take the mask off so I can see my nephew." And sure enough, Peter Parker takes his mask off. "How did you know?" "I've known the whole time," or "I've known for a while now." And she shares how proud he is, and then she passes away. It was a heartbreaking moment, but it was a beautiful moment as well. It's crazy just the amount of great writing you had in this. And then you even leave with cliffhangers leading up to the next game. Miles Morales, who has recently been bitten by a radioactive spider, with Peter Parker going broke, he loses his home, and then he moves in with Aunt May, but now Aunt May has passed, so now he has nowhere to stay. So third option was live with Miles Morales, and then Miles Morales reveals to Peter that he has powers that led to a very awkward, funny joke, which was meant to be awkward, where Miles Morales ends up jumping on the roof, and he's like, "This is pretty weird, right?" And then Peter jumps on the roof as well, and he's like, "It's not that weird." It was awesome. Throughout the game story, Norman talks about Harry Osborn being on vacation and him just taking time off and stuff. Turns out that he is the one with the Venom suit on him, and they're trying to find a cure to make sure that Harry lives. And that is a cool concept in itself, and it made me question why wasn't Harry Osborn Venom in Spider-Man 3. It just dawns on me that they never did that, and I'm just like, dude, seriously. So hands down, this is one of the best video games in Spider-Man history. The franchise has just evolved, especially now with this video game, and it just showed you that they can get Spider-Man right. This game even has connections to the MCU from showing Hell's Kitchen, Doctor Strange's mansion, the Avengers Tower, stuff like that. So if you can buy that, this is a much later Tom Holland. Side note, I know everybody's gonna say it. The remastered version, Peter Parker looking more like Tom Holland. I didn't like it. It made more sense for the Peter Parker that we got that looked a little bit older, looked more like a mentor to Miles Morales. So I think, yeah, they screwed up by doing that to Peter Parker in the remastered version. It was pretty stupid, if you ask me. But that doesn't take away from how awesome this game is, and it is hands down an A plus, 10 out of 10. One of the greatest video games of all time. I am just hyped and excited to talk about the rest of the video game series, particularly this one. I know Spider-Man 3, when that comes out, is gonna kick ass. Man, it's just going great, and I cannot wait. Next up, I'm gonna be talking about something that I grew up watching as a kid, and I'm curious how this holds up. But that is Spider-Man, the new animated series, or to what many of us people that grew up with this series call it, MTV Spider-Man. I cannot wait to see what you guys think about my opinions on that story, but it's coming next, well, tomorrow. So anyways, take care, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video, and can't wait to see you on the next one. Take care.